This is a lecture on possessive adjectives. Mi, mis. Por ejemplo, mi gato, meow. Mi gato, mi gato. Gato de señora Quash. Mi gato es perezoso. Mi hijo es alto. Mis libros son grandes. Mis cuadernos son pequeños. Carlos. Carlos es estudiante de Troy. ¿Sí? Carlos. Sus. Sus clases son buenas. Las clases de Carlos. Sus clases son buenas. Sus profesores son simpáticos. Su libro de español es grande. Su mochila es buena. Mi, mis, sus. Hopefully you haven't glanced at your book yet, and maybe you don't already know the meanings, but what do you think first mi, mis means? They mean my. And I also want to point out that there is no accent, and because with an accent it means me, and this word you're going to see a little bit later this week, so I want to make sure to point out the difference so you don't get them confused. Sus, hopefully you guessed right. It means his, like Carlos's stuff. It was mentioning his. It also means her, their, and your formal. With su and sus, because there are several possibilities, sometimes you may need to clarify who the person is. If that's the case, here's an example. Su libro es malo. Maybe we're talking about Carlos or whoever else. If it's unclear, you can add a phrase where you have the object and then the person. El libro de Juan es malo. The book of John is bad. There are a few other possessive adjective forms, and you can find everything on possessive adjectives on page 29 in the textbook. Tus. That means your, the informal your. So if you're talking to your friend and you're like, your books are lovely, then you're going to use tus. And then finally, nuestro means our. Nuestra means our. Nuestros, nuestras means our. So these are all the forms. For my, you have here. For tu and tus, and that's a typo. That's supposed to be a T. Sus, and then 4 different possibilities for our. So matching game. So apparently Spanish is a big old matching game. So you probably can guess the reasons why there's a singular and plural version of all these. And let's see, our has 4 different versions because it happens to have an O, which tends to morph to 4 forms. Something to think about. Some people are like, well, when do I change it? Does it have to do with my subject? If it's one person, you know, my stuff, or, you know, the subject is I, and I'm talking about my things. Do I just use my? Some people can get a little bit confused there. I would say first pick the possessive that goes with the subject. For instance, if I'm talking, if the whole sentence is about me, Obviously, I'm not going to use our because it's not about me and somebody else. So I would narrow it down to me, mis. So you need to narrow down which one of these you're going to use. You have 4 options, 1, 2, 3, 4. And from there, then choose the form that matches the object. So there are different forms because they modify the object. Por ejemplo, my laptop. Which would we use, me or mis? Well, it's just one object, so you should use mi. Mi computadora portátil. Your papers. Your papers. Out of the 4 options, you should pick tu or tus. Now, which of those will we use? Well, the object is plural, so it needs to be tus. Tus papeles. Our calculadora. Oh, sorry, calculator. I'm thinking in Spanish. All right, so calculadora. So which of those 4 forms would we use of our? Nuestra. Nuestra calculadora. So this one matches here. Well, that's it for now. We'll do some practice activities. Any more questions? Then go ahead and message me on the board. Adiós y hasta luego.